Hello, Disney fans. This time of year, I love to watch a good holiday movie, and the first two Home Alone movies are among my favorites. For this video, I'm going to be focusing on just the booby traps from Home Alone 2 because there is so much material to cover that talking about the whole movie would take multiple videos. There's just so much to talk about. One of the things that impresses me with Home Alone 2 is they keep the jokes fresh. It doesn't feel like they're just redoing Home Alone 1. It's still hilarious. Now, they changed things up by having Kevin be in New York rather than his own home. Well, of course, he doesn't have a home in New York, but it's clever the way they work the way around this. Kevin happens to have a relative who lives in New York, but that relative is away out of the country at the moment on Christmas vacation while his home is being renovated, and Kevin uses that. But the comedy starts even before they get to the house that Kevin's booby trapped. The former Wet Bandits, now known as the Sticky Bandits, Harry and Marv, are robbing Duncan's toy chest. Earlier in the movie, Kevin met Mr. Duncan and found out he's a very nice man who is going to be donating all the money the store takes in on Christmas Eve to a local children's hospital. So if Harry and Marv steal from him, they're also stealing from sick kids. Kevin wants to do a great good deed on Christmas Eve to make up for the fights he's had with his family, and he figures this is perfect. He catches them in the act and gets photo evidence. And I love Marv's reaction. He knows he's caught committing a crime. What's his first question?
He's back! Hey, get my picture! How did my hair look?
Yeah, I think you've got a few bigger problems than how your hair looks in a photo, Marv. Well, the two chase after Kevin because obviously they need to get the camera in order to destroy any evidence. And Kevin has a booby trap set up for them right outside the store. Now, I love this pratfall, but you gotta feel sorry for whoever owned that car that Harry's about to encounter. I really feel sorry for whoever owned that car. How are they going to explain that to their insurance? I'm pretty sure after Harry runs off, they wouldn't even know what happened to tell the insurance. And how did Harry walk away from that anyway? I'm pretty sure a fall that would hurt you, that would crush a car like that, would hurt you bad enough to put you in the hospital at least. Of course, movie logic, he's in pain, but he walks it off. Now, another good laugh. In fact, a lot of the laughs are the reactions to things, and I get a laugh out of how Kevin takes another picture of them and says to smile, and Marv actually does smile like they were just taking photos for fun. He is, in my opinion, by far the dumber of the two.
Hey guys, smile!
If these two had any brains, they'd know better than to tangle with Kevin by this point. After the last movie, they know exactly what he's capable of. But of course, they're more focused on getting the camera to get the evidence back. Which, if you think about it, if they'd just gone and run, they could have been probably out of New York by the time the police would have found them. And they could have just forgot the camera and started over somewhere else, but they're not that smart. They go after Kevin, and he pretends to agree to throw down the camera to them on the condition they leave him alone. What he throws is, of course, not the camera. The bricks that he throws, I gotta say, crude but effective. Not the genius booby traps we're used to, but Seeing Marv get clobbered in the head by one, of course, is good for a laugh.
Okay, kid. Give it to me.
I said before that I think Marv is the stupider of the two. He also gets hurt the worst of the two throughout this movie. Now, the flying bricks hit him not just once, but 4 times. Now, usually with comedy, you expect the rule of three. No, this movie goes beyond that and has him get clobbered 4 times. And doctors have said a brick hitting him from that height, not just once, but that many times, yeah, in real life, he's dead. There is no surviving that. But of course, again, movie logic, and there's a lot of booby traps to here that would really kill a person. But again, all in good comedy. Now, Marv is too dumb to have learned any lessons from working with Kevin before. He comes across the door to get into the place and pulls it to reveal a rope. Now, obviously, this rope is attached to something, and you would think he'd know this is going to trigger a booby trap. He's too dumb to know that, though. And I think the genius of the booby traps, the way they play out in this movie, in the first movie, it's just bam, they trigger it, they're in pain. Funny, but what makes these extra funny, I think, is the build up to it. That gives those jokes another level. You know the pain is coming. And everybody watching these is just holding their breath, counting down to when is it gonna happen. And I love every second of this. Marv seriously never learns, and that makes this all the more funny is how dumb he is. And not only does he not learn, better to not pull on a rope where there should be a doorknob when you know you're up against Kevin. But not only does he fall for that, he continues to pull on the rope and gets hit with 2 more staples. Like I said, this guy does not learn. Speaking of people who never learn, Harry's no better. He goes to grab for a ladder to get into the house. Now he knows Kevin either heats it up, has it rigged to have something fall on him, or has it greased. There's some kind of trap here. He should know this. And if you would look closer, the grease on the rung of the ladder is clearly visible. But Harry doesn't look that close. And to add insult to injury, he even gets hit with a blob of grease at the end. And I love that little extra detail to humiliate him even further. A lot of Kevin's traps would be so easily avoided if they just bothered to look down. Now, the previous year, Marv ended up stepping on both a nail and broken glass simply because he didn't look down. Now, here, he's so dumb, he walks right into a hole. How dumb can this guy get?
Harry, I've reached the top. Look.
To his credit, Harry has learned from past experience, to some extent anyway. He knows better be cautious when pulling light switches, and better be careful handling doorknobs. The previous year, Kevin had heated up a doorknob, and when he grabbed it, he got his hand burned so bad that Emperor McAllister was permanently burnt into his palm. So he's very cautious touching the doorknob. He opens the door, but he hasn't learned to step back when danger is incoming. Both of the first two Home Alone movies absolutely nail the slapstick. It is perfect. And if you're going to do slapstick right, you have to get the movements right. You have to do the falls a certain way. You have to show the pain a certain way. And Daniel Stern, who plays Marv, is a master at this. I love the scene where he's going across the greased floor. His movements, where he looks like he's just about to go down and you're on the edge of your seat waiting, okay, is he gonna fall now? Is he gonna fall now? His movements are perfect, and it's graceful at the same time as being clumsy. It's almost like he's dancing through it. And I know it's not, this is by no means a dance, but the way he pulls this movement off is perfect for this scene. Of course, he does eventually fall. And now, the way they do this, I love it. He doesn't, go into a cuss storm. He doesn't scream. He underplays it. And that makes it even more funny, that little way he goes, uh-oh. That's even more funny somehow than if they'd gone for a more over-the-top way. Understatement really works here, in my opinion. Part of the genius of this is each joke builds on the next. Kevin's traps are set up so that each thing leads to something else. Marv slips, and of course, in slipping, he knocks the paint all over himself. Of course, now he's going to want to get cleaned up a bit. He's going to need a sink, and Kevin has that sink rigged with arguably the most famous trap in this movie. It's certainly portrayed in memes the most, joked about on Facebook the most. He doesn't just go for a pratfall. He outright electrocutes Marv. Again, in real life, Marv would be dead. And yet, of course, it's just a movie so we can all laugh. And everybody, even if for some reason you haven't seen the movie, I'm sure everyone has seen that image of Marv at the end where he's being completely electrocuted here. Now, that image used to scare the crud out of me when I was a kid. I'm not gonna lie. But of course, now that I'm older, I find it hilarious. But even funnier to me are the vocalizations that that shows he's in pain more than an outright scream would. Daniel Stern is so good at doing physical comedy. Of course, they both are. Now, I talked about never learning before, and Harry walks into the exact same trap as the year before. Now, again, just repeating the same traps wouldn't be funny. What's funny is his lack of reaction when the pain should be hitting, and yet he doesn't respond. It isn't until Harry steps in front of a mirror that he realizes his head is on fire. It takes that long. Now, obviously, he's going to want water to put the fire out, but the sinks aren't working. House is under renovation. The only water available is in the toilet bowl, or at least he thinks it's water. Toilet humor is one thing, but they elevate this to the next level. Kevin has replaced all the water with gas, and there's only one thing that's going to happen when you add gas and fire together. I gotta say, impressive handstand. And we have yet another booby trap that would result in death if this was real life. They're getting a little bit more cautious as they go along. Marv comes to a rope and he tugs it carefully, testing its strength. Is there something going to fall on me? Oh, it seems secure. I think it's safe to climb up it. Kevin has attached this rope to a bag of cement that would stay in place for a light tug, but not when somebody's actually trying to climb it. Kevin's clever enough to know they're going to test this, and he knows how to beat that. Once again, we get that great little uh-oh, and he's too dumb to step out of the way. It's falling towards him. He has plenty of time to move, but he's just too dumb. The next trap is simple but effective. Kevin has sawed partly through a ladder. He's able to climb up it to get away from Harry and Marv because it'll support the weight of a kid, but it's not going to support the weight of a grown man. Now, you might have noticed the staircase in that shot, and you might be wondering why don't they just use the staircase? But then maybe you remember what happened in the first movie when they went up a staircase. Marv doesn't remember this at first, rather, but Harry sure does. And they think they're going to be able to outsmart Kevin by pretending that they don't remember.
Sure enough, what happened last year? No. Watch this. Lights down! Oh!
Again, we get this wonderful comedic buildup. It isn't just wham, there's the pain. That was funny in the first movie, but like I said, you can't just repeat the first movie. That's where so many sequels go wrong. And that's why this one is arguably even better than the first Home Alone. They think they tricked Kevin into sending down the second paint can. And they think once he's done that, that's all he's got. They should know better by now.
Ow! Right in the stars! That's cool.
The two go running up the stairs thinking he's done with this trap. There's nothing more he can do to us on the stairway. He's already sent down a paint can for each of us. Do they not think it's possible to rig more than one heavy object? Like I said before, usually there's a rule of three involved in comedy. It takes three different steps to get to the punchline. A joke is repeated or alluded to three different times, but here they go one step beyond. Instead of just sending down three objects, they go for one last joke with the same lead pipe. Those little tiny squeaks are so perfect that, oh, where he knows it's coming, but they're too injured at this point to move, and that fart. I mean, it's just so well done, so well acted. Now, again, like I've said several times now, but it keeps being hilarious the way they build up to the jokes, the way they build up to these booby traps, these pranks. They pull a knob thinking they're going to get upstairs and they hear a crashing sound. Tick tock, pain is coming. They simply do not have the sense to know who cares what the sound is. Whatever it is, it's going to result in getting hurt. Now, once again, it's the understatement of the pain that makes it all the more hilarious. They just casually answer the question of what that sound was. There's no big scream, no major ow. It's just so understated, and that makes it more funny yet.
That was the sound of a tool chest falling down the stairs.
That was the last of the traps actually inside the house. And I gotta comment here one question that's brought up a lot on Facebook that I've seen, and it is a valid question. What happens when the renovation workers come back? The place is trashed and it's not exactly safe even with all the booby traps that have already been sprung. Kevin kinda needs to think about who else is affected by this, especially since it's his uncle's house being renovated. But still, we're not supposed to think that much about it. We're just supposed to laugh, and of course, it is hilarious. I love the way we know what's coming in this next trap as soon as we hear kerosene. Where there's kerosene and Kevin, there's gonna be fire. He's rigged one last little Christmas gift for them.
Harry? You wearing aftershave? That's not aftershave, that's kerosene. The rope is soaked in it. Now, why would anybody soak a rope in kerosene? Merry Christmas. Go up!
Honestly, if I were them, I probably would have let myself drop rather than climb back up because they're not going to get back to the top before that thing is set on fire or before the fire reaches them. Granted, in real life, a drop like that will result in broken bones, but in the movie, they've taken a lot worse than a major drop like that so far. They end up dropping even further anyway than if they'd have just let themselves drop to start with. And to top it all off, the icing on the cake is they bring down all the paint cans along with them. By now, Kevin has actually called the police. He's used a payphone and said, look for the people who robbed Duncan's toy chest in Central Park. Look for fireworks. And he goes there to set off some fireworks to alert the cops, and he's trying to lure Harry and Marv after him. And he would have been fine except for slipping on some ice. They catch him and they proceed into Central Park, which conveniently is where he would have taken them anyway. And they would have got him except for his friend, the pigeon lady. She has a bucket of birdseed, and I'm thinking that when they made this movie, they must have been thinking of a certain Alfred Hitchcock film. Kevin shuts off the fireworks, which bring the cops, and he's also left the tape recording of them confessing to everything they've done, plus photos of them in action stealing from the toy store. So the police have plenty of evidence. And to make the job of the police even easier, Marv just doesn't know when to shut up and actually confesses to their crime.
The prisoners have already exchanged gifts. We missed the presents? He made us hide out in the store so we could steal all the kiddies' charity money. Shut up, Mark! Got the right to remain silent, you know.
He might have the right to remain silent, but he's too dumb to use that right. So they're hauled off, and Kevin's mom finds him. Well, they've all come to New York because they were able to trace the use of Kevin's dad's credit card, and that's gonna set up for one last great joke, but we'll get to that shortly. Anyway, Kevin and his family are reunited. They all stay at the Plaza Hotel because the staff really messed up when they scared Kevin away. So they let the whole family stay there, and Mr. Duncan, in gratitude for what Kevin has done, sends a whole truckload of toys for all the McAllisters. Now, Kevin has a gift to give himself. Earlier in the movie, Mr. Duncan gave Kevin 2 turtle dove ornaments and told him that he was supposed to keep one and give the other to someone special, and then they'd always be friends even if they never saw each other again. Kevin remembers this, and there's someone who he really wants to thank and who he wants to be friends with for the rest of his life.
That's something for you. What's this? It's a turtle dove. I have one, you have one. As long as we each have a turtle dove, we'll be friends forever.
I love the friendship between these two, but I wish it would have gone one step further. As much as I love this moment, I would have loved to have seen Kevin talk to someone at the plaza or maybe Mr. Duncan about giving this lady a job, getting her a home, getting her off the streets. Maybe he did. I like to think so. It would have made for a heartwarming ending, but of course, this movie isn't just supposed to be heartwarming, even though it certainly is in moments. It's supposed to be funny. And we end with one last punchline. Kevin had his dad's credit card the whole time he was in New York, and he never hesitated to use it.
Kevin! You spent $967 on road service!
Kevin is an exceptionally smart kid, but he is still a kid. So I doubt he was doing the math to add up his total as he was ordering all this stuff. Now, the plaza did mess up big time earlier in the movie. So I think they should probably just have the hotel owner absorb that debt and not charge the McAllisters for it. I mean, technically, they did let a kid run wild with his dad's credit card. And they did scare him off when he was alone. So, yeah, to be fair, I really, really think the owner of the plaza should cover that debt. I absolutely love watching this movie. I never get tired of watching this every Christmas. This is one of those rare sequels that I think it's actually an improvement on the original. Although at the same time, would it have been as funny if I hadn't seen the original and knew it was coming? I would say probably. The build up to the jokes, yeah, a lot of that is knowing what to expect, but it also goes beyond expectations. So, even if you haven't seen the first one, I think you're still going to get the full humor effect of this. Absolutely love this movie. It always gets me, feeling Christmassy. And I hope all of you are enjoying your winter holiday, whatever winter holiday you're celebrating. Until next time, remember the magic.